This must be come early and get a good back seat.
test here when they walk out children.
Hello. What do you think? Thank you. Good morning, church. My name is Susan Hitchka. I'm part of the board of directors. And we take turns calling your attention to the announcements that are printed on your order of service. I certainly won't read them to you, but I did want you to know. We have an incredible group called the Death Cafe. They take time to share what's in their hearts all around that topic of death and dying. And its next session is October 17th here in the foyer at the church. And anyone is welcome to come and share those thoughts with others. There's a table out there that will be, and I'll be sitting there. It's the sign up for our all-church picnic. We're really excited about having an all-church picnic next week at the La Cueva picnic site, which is straight out University, which turns into Dripping Springs. And we'll be organizing some carpools if you're interested in getting a ride with someone else, because they do charge a $5 fee for every car that parks there. So it's your choice. And lots of good information about what's going on at the picnic, what they'll be serving. You can read that. We still need a couple of volunteers who would help with setup out there, and you could tell me that after the service at the picnic table if you're willing to help. We're having a Thanksgiving dinner. That's a tradition here in our church that has been brought back and was quite an event last Thanksgiving. So you can read about how that goes and talk to Jan Thompson if you want more information. The tech table still could use some help as volunteers who would be willing to be trained on one of those stations so that we can spell the folks that we hire to do this. And let's see, finally, the Change for Change notice. This is October, so we're now moving to our final set of final charity for the year, and that's Coats for Kids. So we'll be supporting that this month. And finally, drop off your leash if you brought it today. There's a table opposite. It's here. The books that someone said, are those banned books? No, those books, they asked. Actually, though, it turns out some of those books are, but they are common read books that the UUA has put up, and our librarian and her helpers said, gee, we have a lot of those books. So we have a display for you, and they're certainly available to you if you want to take them home and read them. The books in the library are getting better every week, I swear. There's so many things. You should take an opportunity to look at the books and find something interesting to read, because there's a lot of things there. So finally, drop off your leash.
Woof, woof, woof.
Oh dear.
Woof,
A leash, yes. So, all right.
Bow wow, bow wow. Woof, 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 woof. Woof, woof, woof. Woof, 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 woof. Woof, 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 woof.
All right. All right. Thank you, dear. All right. Yes, indeed. The reason we are collecting leashes is that the community of hope, the folks who are living in the tents out there or who are unhoused and on the streets, have been told that they must keep their dogs under control. And they don't have shopping carts, or soon won't have shopping carts, which help them to kind of, carry a lot of things, including pets and pet supplies. So this is a small way that we can help to meet their need. And we'll be collecting leashes, Dave Rice tells me, this week, but also next week, if you didn't remember to bring one. So I hope that, we can pick up on that. So it is time for the service and time for me to leave, but welcome, I'm glad you're here.
Susan?
Yes, sir.
People to silence their cell phones.
Oh, yes, I guess I certainly could. So if you would put your phones on worship mode, in other words, that means silence them, then we will be ready to start our service. Thank you.
Thank you.
The lyrics to this one are fortunately going to be up on the display, so if you feel so moved, please join in. This one is built for singing together. It's Gentle Arms of Eve by Dave Clark. coming up later in the service.
Thank you. I love that song. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. We welcome those of you who are in our sanctuary this morning, especially the children, and those who are joining us via streaming technology. I'm Eileen Still, a member of the Board of Directors of the Unitarian Universalist Animal Ministry and your service associate today. Our minister, Rod Thompson, is not in the pulpit this morning. Our service leader this morning is my handsome and brilliant husband, Dave Still. He is also our congregation's UUAM chapter leader. Our director of music, Catherine Massey, is out of town. We are fortunate to have Kathy Cox lead us in song, accompanied by Nancy Carlson on the piano. We are also fortunate to have Dave Carlson, who will provide us with the appropriate instrumental music at the appropriate times. And we are delighted that the Old Time Pharmaceuticals is with us today to inspire us with their beautiful music. Our Director of Religious Education is Kelly Ingram. Assisting us are Elwin Nunn on camera and Mike Yasko training J.D. Schultz and Kevin Fitzgerald on the soundboard and YouTube. The cellist table was prepared by Diane Lee and Jillian Lang. Our greeters today are Carol Cassavant, Steve Hitchka, and Susan West. Hospitality is offered today by the Committee on Ministry and by the Animal Advocates Ministry. We are all delighted to be with you today. If you are visiting us today, we would like to meet you. If you are in the sanctuary, please rise in body or spirit and introduce yourself by telling us your name and where you are from. But wait for Dave to bring the mic to you because some of us don't hear so well. And please stand if you are willing so that we might see you. Do we have any visitors here in the sanctuary today? There you go.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am Yolanda Martinez, the local Native American drum maker and drummer. Returned back home. It's nice to see everyone. And I'm having a drumming here next Saturday. I have flyers available for you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. You probably have already seen us around, but with us today we have my mom, Cecilia. This is her first time coming here. Usually she's out of town, so this is the first weekend she's been able to come with us. But yeah, she's just a little shy.
Anyone else?
Do we have any visitors today joining us via streaming technology? Oh, someone behind me.
Suppose we're the musical guests. It's always a joy to be here. I'm Pat DeSimio,
Oh, I'm Abby Naira.
and we are the base ingredients for the Old Time Pharmaceuticals, your local provisioners of recreational and therapeutic folk music. It's always a joy to be here.
Okay, do we have any visitors joining us via YouTube? No, okay. Well, thank you. We're very pleased that you have joined us today. And if you like, fill out a visitor's card in the lobby or send us your email so we can invite you to other services and activities at the church. If you are a shy visitor but curious about our church, please feel free to fill out a visitor's card in the lobby and you'll receive the same invitations. Unitarian Universalism has no creed or dogma. We are a covenant-based church, meaning that we agree to live in relationship with each other according to the Unitarian Universalist principles and our congregation's covenant of right relations. We embrace diversity in all its forms. Everyone is welcome. You can learn more about our church at our website, UUCLC.org. And after the service, please join us for coffee and conversation inside or outside the RE building just down the breezeway. Just follow the sidewalk.
All I can say is that I'm really glad that Eileen sets the bar low. Okay. Today is the day that we have set aside to celebrate the interdependent web of all existence and to acknowledge our place in it. Today we honor all the beings with whom we share this planet. Today is made even more special as we publicly honor a longtime member of this congregation who has been showing us by her example what it means to be a true friend of the animals. Even I choked up when I was rehearsing this, so I hope I can get through it. Jean Gilbert, this service, this celebration of independence is dedicated to you. Being the humble person that you are, I know you are embarrassed by this attention. And for that I apologize, but I'm not sorry. Jean has generously supported just about every major animal welfare and rescue group in our city, county, and state. As the founder of Las Cruces' Coalition for Pets and People, she has mobilized individuals and groups who care about animal welfare throughout the county. Jean has served as a member of the board of directors of the Humane Society of Southern New Mexico, where she was a driving force in the creation of the Cans for Critters initiative that our congregation now coordinates as part of its animal ministry, a ministry that she helped to found. Cans for Critters has donated more than $22,000 in the last decade to help individuals and rescue groups meet the needs of veterinary and basic needs of hundreds of companion animals. As a volunteer humane educator, Jean has taught hundreds of Las Cruces elementary school children the importance of caring for and about animals and to treat them kindly. Finally, I'd like to point out that Jean is our very own favorite child-free cat lady. And she leads a happy and fulfilling life. Today will be Jean's last Sunday service with us before she leaves next week to relocate to her hometown in Kansas. Jean, as our goodbye to you, we want to, if you'd come down, Jean, please. Okay. We want to offer you So, this framed letter that was composed by a committee, we're good UUs. Spelling out how we feel about you and the love and affection we have for you and the gratitude we have for your good example. So there's this, we didn't want you to have, I thought about getting you a new sofa.
Mine's all scratched up for kitty cats.
But I didn't think you'd want to have to move it, so we got some. No, we're not done. Not done yet. We have 2 additional people who would like to acknowledge your contributions to our community. So Janet Pitt and Kelly Ingram.
Oh, Jean, you have been a beloved friend of mine.
Thank you, and you have to, Jean.
And when you told me last year that you had relocated, or you had recontacted people that you knew from high school, I dreaded that this time would come and you would be leaving us. But I'm so happy for you. Thank you. So we can't let you go without a couple of gifts. First of all, we have something. Okay. First of all, we have something small and pretty for you, and you can peek at that in a minute. But first, we have something large and not pretty, but practical. And I'm curious, I want you to unwrap this. I'm curious to know if you remember what this is for. I think you've been away from Kansas a while. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and then I also lived in Baltimore. And I am very familiar with this object. And I hope it's helpful to you. And I want to see if you remember what it's for.
Yes, and you know what? And I need it. I do, and I'm gonna need it. Thank you.
Kelly?
Thank you, that's so good. Oh, thank you. Pretty. Thank you. Beautiful earrings. Thank you. Earrings. And I do enjoy jewelry, so thank you. I will wear them. So sweet. Thank you. Beautiful. You have it bad too. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
Excuse me a minute. Sorry.
Good morning, Jean. Oh, I am a crybaby, so, okay. Jean, I do cry very easily. Jean Gilbert was one of my very first friends here at UUCLC. We met just a few months before the pandemic when she was setting up her beautiful gift boxes, and I offered to help. After that, Jean always made sure to give me a hug or a hello every time she saw me, which meant the world to me. Her warmth and kindness, just like her smile, is radiant. And then I was so thankful to hear that Jean would be on the new RE committee, because I knew that her kindness and giving would spill over into our program, and it did. An activity kit needed to be made, Jean was on it. An article needed to be written, Jean had a pen in her hand. The craft closet needed to be cataloged, that's where you would find her. The classroom needed a teacher, Jean was ready to read a story. I cannot express personally and on behalf of the RE committee just how much we appreciate everything you have given to us, to the children, and to this church. We're going to miss you. And we all wish you the very best. And I'm positive that your warmth and kindness and smile will carry you into new friendships.
Thank you all very much. And we invite everyone to come down to hospitality at the end of the service, as Eileen mentioned. This is an all-vegan hospitality. I guarantee you will like it, including a nice vegan cake from the Indulgence Bakery. So please join us then, and it'll be an opportunity to say hello and goodbye to Jean.
I just want to thank this church so much. You have been the world to me. You are beloved community. You are communities within communities. And I honestly don't know what I would have done without this church. And in nearby Hutchinson, Kansas, there is a Unitarian fellowship, and I do plan to look into it. Thank you so much for this. I am so touched and moved by this beautiful acknowledgement. Thank you so much. Our chalice lighting words today are by the Unitarian minister, Unitarian Universalist minister, Florence Kaplow. We light this chalice in honor of the animal realm. Furred and hooved, two-legged, four-legged, and many-legged, fanged and clawed, gentle and fierce, wild and tame. May we remember that animals are our relatives, worthy of care and respect. Now please rise, embody your spirit, and join me in our affirmation of covenant, followed by singing our doxology in English and Spanish. The words to both will be displayed on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus we covenant with one another.
Peace, goodwill on earth
We'll now be joined by Kelly Ingram, our Director of Religious Education, for the reading of our Time for All Ages story, followed by the singing of the children's blessing.
Good morning, church. A quick reminder to the RE students, you have been invited to stay in the sanctuary today for the entire service. However, the children's blessing will still be sung after today's story because we want you to know that you are welcomed and honored here. This morning's story is Junebug. For all creatures, no matter how small. This is June. She loves bugs. June likes playing outside. She helps her friends learn about all kinds of bugs and other small creatures and why they are so neat and important. Carter wants to stomp on anthills to see them squish. Stop, says June. There are whole cities and tunnels under these anthills, and it's where the ants live. June teaches Carter that ants are hard workers and that they solve problems together. The ants are thankful. After it rains, June sees earthworms on the sidewalk. She carefully puts them back on the grass. Max and Luke ask June, what is she doing? Rescuing worms, says June. June teaches Max and Luke that when the sun comes out, the worms will get hot and dry up. Putting them in the grass will help them get back into the ground. The worms are thankful. June plays by the barn with her friends. Charlotte and Luna want to tear down the spider webs because they are afraid of spiders. Let's not do that, says June. Why not? Spiders are scary looking, says Luna. But spiders work hard to build their webs and catch their food, says June. She teaches her friends that spiders can be good for helping people too, by eating mosquitoes. The spiders are thankful. June goes swimming in her friend Sierra's pool. She sees a beetle stuck on her back in the water. She gently scoops up the beetle and places her outside of the pool. Why are you doing that? Asks Sierra. Beetles can get so tired of swimming that they drown, says June. June teaches Sierra that some beetles shimmer like a rainbow. The beetle is thankful. June watches bees float from flower to flower. Rowan and Ambrose want to trap the bees in jars. Let's just study them from here, says June. June teaches her friends that bees are very busy helping flowers and other plants to grow, and it's better to let them work. The bees are thankful. At school one day, Caroline finds a cricket in the classroom. She is scared and wants to squish him. Wait, says June. He's scared of us too. Let's put him outside. June finds a cup, carefully catches the cricket, and releases him outside so that he can make beautiful music at night. You guys know what that cricket is? He is thankful. June and her friends find a field of butterflies behind the playground. Cooper wants to catch the butterflies with a net. June says, let's take pictures of them instead. That way we can look at the pictures later. and the butterflies can stay free in this field. June and her friends admire all the many different colors and patterns that the butterflies have. The butterflies are thankful. At night, June looks out of her window. It's dark outside, but June can still see some of the flowers in her yard by the light of the moon. She admires the fireflies slowly gliding through the air. She whispers goodnight to them before falling asleep. And they whisper goodnight back. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. It's our tradition to express our care for one another through the sharing of joys, sorrows, and milestones. Should have gone to rehearsal.
Good morning. Please rise and embody your spirit and join me in singing number 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. The lyrics should be up on the screen. All creatures of the earth and sky, come, kindred, lift your voices high. Hallelujah, hallelujah, bright burning sun with golden beam, soft shining moon with silver gleam. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Swift rushing winds so bright and strong, wide love that standing yet along. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Father goes and born with praise rejoice. God goes and leave from far no voice. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Cool flowing water, pure and clear, make music for all life to hear. Hallelujah, hallelujah, display the fire so strong and bright, and bless us with your warmth and light. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Yes, that was much better. Okay. It's our tradition to express our care for one another through the expression of joys, sorrows, and milestones. Another way that we do this is by setting aside time in our service for quiet meditation and reflection on the gift of being part of this church community and our gratitude for all that makes us whole and gives us meaning in our lives. This we do through our stones and water ceremony. As David Carlson provides us with the background music, I invite all those who wish to do so to come forward, pick up a stone, and drop it in the vessel of water. And as you do so, you reflect on your joys and concerns and your gratitude for the gifts of interdependence and for the beings who share their lives with you.
I'm Charlie Scholes. I've been a member of this Unitarian Universalist Church since 2002. This is the fourth UU church I've joined, and I became a Unitarian Universalist because my wife and I wanted our children to have some religious education without the negativity that you sometimes find in other religions. But as sometimes happened, we joined the church for the kids, and we stayed for us. Unitarian Universalism is my kind of religion because it allows me to seek my own path, but guides me with principles and covenants, and I wouldn't be satisfied with anything less. Currently, I'm the chair of the Facilities Management Committee. Our job is to oversee the maintenance and the physical development of the campus. I'm also the co-chair, along with Katie Fitzgerald, of the Sunday Service Committee. So we are the folks who help the staff and other individuals to bring you a wide range of programs each Sunday. Right now, we're on our pledge campaign to raise money for the 2025 year. I still can't believe it's 2025, you know. I remember when it was 2002, actually. Our goal is over $300,000, and you already know of some of our needs. In addition to maintaining and improving our facilities and programming, we're looking to employ a three-quarter-time minister instead of just a half-time. We're exploring the idea of new sanctuary. We're trying to increase our services to the community. But to do this, we need your contributions. Your pledge and mine will go a long way to meeting the needs and the goals of our church. So if you haven't filled out a pledge card yet, I urge you to do so as soon as possible and to give generously. And if you have already pledged, I would ask you to consider this. I grew up in Chicago, where in election years we used to urge people to vote early and often. Now, if you've already made a contribution to the UU Church of Las Cruces, in effect, you voted early. But I'm asking you to consider doing that again. Remember, the future is in your hands. Thank you.
Our reading today is called Eulogy for a Little Lab Animal by Elizabeth Tarbox. Natalie was a gold and white guinea pig with full lips and an overstated stomach. She shared her life with us, accepted our love and care, nibbled daintily on spinach and dandelion, and swooned over the very smell of strawberries. Natalie cherished her mate, Frank, and let us stroke their babies, and forgave us when we gave their babies away. When Natalie became sick, we took her to the veterinarian and were told that not much could be done for little lab animals, mammals. We were told that Natalie would not get well again. So we made that choice, which we human animals have granted ourselves, and asked the doctor to put her to sleep. But Natalie didn't sleep. She lay in my lap and quivered and sighed, and the life that she had so generously shared with us left her little round body, and she was dead. And I thought, how curious it is that this small animal should move me so, that this little life, whose whole span had been but 5 years, should make me wrestle with my conscience about the rights of humans to have charge over animals. How strange that the now still body of this lifeless creature should bring me to tears. I had personified a guinea pig. I had granted her a place and dignity in my home. By my love, I had somehow elevated her to something more than a species of rodent. But she, in turn, had dignified me by accepting my care. She had brought beauty into our home and had stirred in me emotions I am glad to have, love and the desire to nurture. She had trusted me, thereby making me trustworthy.
As many of you know, Eileen and I were raised Mormon in Utah. We left that faith shortly after we married and were happily unchurched for over 40 years. Our unaffiliated status began to unravel in 2012 when I started to plan for retirement from my faculty position at Texas Tech Health Sciences Center in El Paso. As I pondered what the next chapter in my life had in store, I confronted the sobering reality that my community consisted exclusively of people with whom I worked. Several of them were also anticipating retirement and relocation. I began to worry about how we would go about building a community, a new community, without a pool of colleagues to draw upon. Flashback. Several years before this retirement planning period, I was teaching at Florida State University. My daily drive took me past a Unitarian Universalist church that posted the titles of their weekly Sunday services on a large roadside sign. Many sounded interesting and topical. I suggested to Eileen that we check this church out. Her response was simple, direct, and clear. No way, I'm giving up my Sunday mornings to go to church. That ended that conversation. Until, now back to the future, we got serious about retiring and moving to Las Cruces. I began lurking on the UUCLC website and discovered that it too had interesting services and genuine concerns for the world. Eileen consented this time to making the 35-minute drive from our home on El Paso's west side to 2000 South Solano in Las Cruces to check out this church. We liked what we saw and heard. We found the people inviting, and we discovered the 7 UU principles. Of these principles, number 7, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are part, particularly spoke to us. We had already decided that once I retired, we would get involved in animal welfare work, and this UU principle seemed to provide a spiritual warrant for doing so. We're here today to celebrate the recently adopted revisions to our denomination's Article 2 core values and covenants. The value of interdependence, based on the original 7th principle, now reads, "We honor the interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it." At first blush, this appears to be little more than a wordier version of the original. On closer reading, however, the changes that the addition of a few words has made are, I think, very profound. We are now called upon to honor the interdependent web of all existence with reverence and humility. As a noun, honor connotes the highest level of regard or esteem that we can hold for that which we are honoring. But the authors of Article 2 revisions then up the ante by telling us that our esteem for the great web of life is no ordinary esteem, but reverential esteem. In its verb form, honor requires that we act in ways consistent with whatever it is that we are honoring. The new interdependence value statement also calls us to acknowledge our place in the great web of life with humility. Now, this is where things may get a bit tricky for our species. To be humble requires that we accept that in the grand scheme of the great web of life, Homo sapiens, our species, are really not all that special. To believe and to act otherwise is to be arrogant. We are just another member of the animal kingdom. I'll come back to the issue of humility in a few minutes, but first let's consider what is truly innovative about the new Article 2 statement of the value we place on interdependence. What is innovative is the covenant we agree to adhere to in order to live our lives according to our values rather than merely paying them lip service. We covenant to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships. Protect all beings from exploitation, nurture relationships with all beings, care about and respect all beings, repair harm and damage relationships with all beings. Sounds like a tall order, doesn't it? And does this covenant really apply to all beings? Everything from gnats to Nobel Prize laureates? My answer is yes. All living beings means just that, all living beings. Clearly, the Article 2 covenants are aspirational and set the bar rather high. But I'm a realist. I recognize that perfect can be the enemy of good. I am also a strong believer that we are responsible for the effort, but not necessarily the outcome. But effort is required. We are more likely to make that effort if, in humility, we accept our place alongside the other living beings in this great web of life, not above them. The writer Kate Forster shares the following musings. I think it's a deep consolation to know that spiders dream, that monkeys tease predators, that dolphins have accents, that lions can be scared silly by a lone mongoose, that otters hold hands and ants bury their dead, that there isn't their life and our life, nor your life and my life, that it is just one endless thread. Now for some fact checking and some fun facts. Okay? Do spiders dream? Maybe. Jumping spiders have been shown to exhibit rapid eye movement, or REM sleep, as part of their sleep cycle. REM sleep in our species, and perhaps others, is a reliable indicator of the experience of dreaming. I'll circle back to the jumping spiders and the biology of dreaming in a few minutes, and there may be a quiz at the end of the service. Do monkeys tease their predators? In a word, yes. A number of monkey species have been observed taunting predators by seemingly mocking them through their vocalization and gestures when they are safely out of reach high in a tree. Could this be the origin of the one-finger salute that we sometimes see on the freeway? Can lions be scared silly by a lone mongoose? Mongooses are extremely aggressive and have been observed fighting back when attacked by predators, including lions. But are lions really scared? Not likely. They're at the top of their food chain. It would probably take a lot more to scare a lion silly than a single lone mongoose. Do dolphins have distinct accents? Yes. Dolphins and whale vocalization patterns do vary by region. Dolphins and whales are incredibly intelligent and highly social creatures. They communicate through a variety of clicks, whistles, and buzzing sounds. By harnessing the power of supercomputing and artificial intelligence, scientists are discovering complex patterns in these vocalizations that vary systematically by context and group. Who knows, we may be only years away from discovering that our species isn't the only animal capable of language. Do otters hold hands? Now, sea otters do exhibit rafting behavior. They sleep on their backs in large, close-knit groups. Now, and the romantics among us are probably going to be happy to know that some sea otters have been observed holding hands at these times, but disappointed to learn that this behavior is uncommon in the wild. Do ants bury their dead? Yes, ants do bury their dead. About 2 days following the death, the deceased ant is carried off to a specific burial location, usually some distance from the colony. No one yet is suggesting that ants mourn the loss of the coworker. But there is ample evidence that many animals do have the capacity to grieve. Behaviors we often associate with grieving, for example, agitation, anorexia, social isolation, disrupted sleep patterns, reluctance to leave the side of the deceased, have been documented in elephants, equines, great apes, killer whales, geese, canines, and others. This suggests an awareness on the part of the grieving animal that the spark of life has left the deceased body and that it is no longer a living being. Now, let's return to the claim that spiders dream. Many animal species, invertebrate and vertebrate alike, have been shown to exhibit REM or REM-like sleep, including the jumping spider. In mammals, birds, reptiles, and fish, electrophysiological monitoring shows distinctive patterns of increased activity in some areas of the brain and diminished activities in other areas at different phases of the sleep cycle. In mammals and birds, for example, REM sleep is associated with the increased activity in the sensory areas of the brain and also in areas of the brain associated with emotional arousal. Increased activities in these areas is accompanied by diminished activity in problem-solving regions of the brain. Might these findings indicate that the monitored animal is dreaming? The Oxford Dictionary tells us that dreams are a series of thoughts, images, and sensations occurring in a person's mind during sleep. I suspect many of us would be skeptical of the claim that a creature like a spider would have the wherewithal to dream. Thus far, to my knowledge, no one has published on what goes on in the jumping spider brain during its REM sleep. But scientists have recently developed methods to monitor activity in that poppy seed-sized brain of a jumping spider. So stay tuned. In the meantime, let's consider the case of Heidi, the unlikely name that marine biologist David Scheel gave to an octopus he keeps in a large aquarium in his home. Dr. Scheel tells of a chance observation he made one evening while Heidi was resting quietly at the bottom of her aquarium, apparently sleeping. Suddenly, her skin color changed from alabaster white to yellow and orange with dark spots. Seconds later, her coloration changed to a dark purple, nearly black, making her almost invisible against the dark background of her tank. And a few seconds after that, her skin coloration changed yet again to a pattern of light grays and yellows. This coloration was accompanied by change in her skin texture. Her previously smooth skin erupted into a series of irregular spikes and ridges. Now, Dr. Scheel has logged hundreds of hours of observations of octopuses in their natural setting and in the lab. He immediately recognized that the display he witnessed corresponded with changes he had observed many times in octopuses in the ocean. The change from yellow to orange occurs when an octopus sees a crab, which is a mainstay of its diet. The shift from yellow-orange to deep purple occurs in the wild when the octopus leaves the ocean floor in pursuit of its next meal. The final change in coloration and skin texture is the camouflage pattern assumed by an octopus in the wild while dining on its catch. But Heidi hadn't moved in the few seconds it took for these changes to occur. She was still apparently in a sleep state at the bottom of her tank. The only explanation that makes sense to Dr. Scheel is that Heidi was dreaming. Yes, dreaming, as we define dreaming. He argues that in her sleep, Heidi was reliving a common experience. She was visualizing, capturing, and consuming a crab while in a dream state. Now, some scientists have dismissed this explanation as mere conjecture. But philosophers and historians of science caution that we must not be too quick to dismiss this hypothesis. They speak of inference to the best explanation based upon the identification of relevant facts and the selection of the explanation that best accounts for all of the facts combined. Heidi's observable behaviors while sleeping are too well coordinated, too coherent, and too well integrated to be the random acts of a sleeping organism. And they mirror perfectly events in the waking life of the now sleeping octopus. The philosopher David Pena Guzman points out that in most ethical frameworks, consciousness is thought to determine which entities have moral standing and which do not. The philosopher Mark Rowlands points out that the quickest way to deny animals moral standing is to deny them mental status, deny that they have a mental life. But Pena Guzman argues it would be impossible for an animal lacking the capacity of consciousness to dream. He argues further that animals capable of dreaming should be recognized because they dream as members of the moral community, as fellow creatures who deserve to be treated with care, dignity, and respect. Sentient beings are capable of sensing and feeling. They are conscious of and responsive to the sensations of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Neuroscientists describe this form of awareness as phenomenal consciousness. And while animals may not communicate their lived experiences in ways that we Homo sapiens can understand, we are beginning to appreciate through increased research on animal cognition and emotional responding that there's a heck of a lot more going on in their minds than we thought possible in the past. This brings us back to the newly refined UUA Article 2 value of interdependence and the covenants supporting that value. We covenant to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships. If we are to honor interdependence as UUs, each of us is honor-bound to adhere to these covenants. Now, I recognize that adherence to the interdependence covenants will vary from person to person based on conscience and interpretation. Eileen and I transitioned from vegetarianism to veganism 2 years ago. It wasn't easy, but it was doable. The worst part has been nobody invites us to dinner anymore. And we know taking this step would be a bridge too far for many of you. But perhaps some of you would be willing to forego meat, poultry, eggs, fish, and dairy products once or twice a week. In the United States, 99% of the food we consume from these sources comes from factory farms where the exploited animals suffer in hellishly terrible conditions. Anything you can do to reduce demand reduces suffering. But there are other things you can do to express your care and concern for the welfare of all beings. Consider adopting or fostering a companion animal in need of a loving home. Consider volunteering with a rescue group or shelter. Consider donating money on a regular basis to a rescue group or shelter. Continue to save your aluminum cans for the Cans for Critters program, as many of you have been doing faithfully for years, and we thank you for that. Eileen and I just dropped off 80 pounds last week. That's a lot of aluminum. And always allow yourself to be humbled and awed by the fact that the gap separating our species from all of the other beings we share our planet with is getting smaller and smaller as we learn more about what makes them and us tick. May it be so. Amen.
Let us sing. Celia was a wise old gal, and turtle green was she. She took me up on her back, swam across the sea. I learned about the coast of Spain, games of tender, and to God's critters, as you have done to you. Because Celia says we all sail seas together. Celia says no one truly swims alone. On the waves flying crest, through the worst and best of weather, and feather friends forever. Celia says. Took me to the sea, swam 1,000 miles from shore, down to a sunken city on the ocean floor. There these words were written on an ancient wall. You have done to one of us, you have done to all. Because Celia says we all sail the seas together. Sister Celia says no one truly swims alone. On the waves' bright crest, through the worst and best of weather, fan of feather, friends forever. Celia says. Now somewhere on some sunny beach in some primeval land, a turtle hides her treasure of eggs upon the sand. So make a wish for peaceful seas and oceans without end. And someday there may wait for you your own sea turtle friend. Because Celia says we all sail the seas together. Sister Celia says no one truly swims alone. On the waves' bright crest, through the worst and best of weather, fan of feather friends
operation and outreach of our church needs your input and your contributions. This is the perfect time to think about what you can give back. In a moment, the greeters will pass among you with the offering baskets. Please give generously. But before they do that, I should remind you that we support organizations identified by the Social Justice Committee with our Change for Change program. This quarter's recipient for our Change for Change donations is Coats for Kids. You can give to them by putting your change in the basket or by writing Change for Change on the note line of your check. Please give generously.
Special thanks to the Carlsons for their contributions today, and to Old Time Pharmaceuticals and the Reverend Rod on the, what do you call that? Wash tub. Our closing words come from the Elizabeth Tarbox reading on the eulogy for a little lab mammal. Great Spirit of life, make us friends of the animals. Make us responsible co-inhabitants of this fruitful planet. In our dealings with animals, may we be generous. May we never debase them. May we respect their right to a good life in their own habitat. In our dealings with animals, may we remember that all life is precious and that we are honored and blessed by their presence amongst us.
Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our closing hymn, number 207, Earth Was Given as a Garden.
Tree of knowledge, place for
Please join me in saying the words to extinguish the flame. The words are on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And in a piece about the interdependent web of existence, it is only appropriate that we all blend our voices as well. This is Swimming to the Other Side by Pat Humphries.
We are living near the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. While the stream flows on forever, we're all swimming to the other side. I'm alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced at the brink of wisdom. I am patient to receive a sign. I move forward with my senses open, struggling to welcome with an open mind. In humility I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living in this great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. While the stream flows on forever, we're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, binding intuition, my head, my heart, I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before me, band together and be my guides, loving lessons that I will follow as we're swimming to the other side. We are living near the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. While the stream flows on forever, we're all swimming to the other side. And may it be that we discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed they were there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we arrived. Loving spirits can live together as we're swimming to the other side.